worked for the most incompetent president in history, so I guess she has a reason to be being will not sell you books, Jesse.
Is Peter Doocy one of those good reporters? Are you sure?
Look, Peter's a good guy. We have our tussles with Peter too. No mistakes there.
All right. Thank you so much.
And it's a stark contrast to what they had over the past 4 years, where they were gaslit, where they were told Joe Biden was mentally stable and up for the job. That was a lie. Where they were told the administration was doing everything it could to secure the border. Also a lie. I'm very proud to work for the greatest president in history.
Karoline Leavitt has fired yet another shot at former White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre as their media feud continues to heat up. This time Karoline's sting came after KJP took offense to a joke she cracked about Obama. But Leavitt didn't just respond. She unleashed a verbal beatdown that left a mark. Let's dive in.
Bind work is the same person who had your job about a year ago. We call her Binder. KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre. You, I guess, had made a joke about, it was like your mama joke, and she didn't like that. This is what she said. Roll it.
It's deplorable. And I'm using that word on purpose.
Yeah.
Because they don't seem to understand, this is the Trump White House, that they don't work for just one man.
Yeah.
They work for the American people. The White House press secretary is not about doing online trolling.
Right.
It is not. It is an honor and a privilege to have that job.
So that's how Karine Jean-Pierre decided to frame it, labeling Karoline Leavitt's lighthearted joke as deplorable and dismissing her as nothing more than a troll. According to KJP, Leavitt wasn't behaving like a proper White House press secretary at all. Instead, she accused her of wasting time on petty online banter and political mudslinging. But that's where the story gets interesting, because Karoline didn't take the insult quietly. In true Leavitt fashion, she fired back with a response so sharp and unapologetic that it turned the entire narrative upside down. And when you hear what she said, you'll understand exactly why this feud isn't cooling off anytime soon. Here's how Karoline responded.
Deplorable. And you say?
Well, with all due respect to my predecessor, she is one of the main of the greatest cover-up and scandal in American history. She took the podium every day and lied to the press about the incompetence of her boss. And on this book tour, she continues to lie. She said this past week that Joe Biden would still be up for the job if he had, God forbid, been reelected in November. She actually said this week as well on a podcast that Joe Biden did more press engagements than President Trump currently does now. Any person across the aisle can tell you that is a bald-faced lie.
Karoline didn't hold back. She came straight for Karine Jean-Pierre, accusing her of being part of what she boldly called the largest cover-up in American history. According to Karoline, the cover-up revolved around hiding President Biden's deteriorating mental health during the final stretch of his presidency. And now that it's widely acknowledged that Biden struggled behind the scenes, Karoline argued that KJP is still desperately defending the lie, pretending everything was fine. Despite mounting evidence, Jean-Pierre continues to insist that Biden was perfectly capable and fully in charge. A claim that's becoming harder to believe with every revelation. Even the uncertainty surrounding whether Biden actually reviewed or approved those last-minute pardons has only deepened the suspicion. At this point, Karoline's message couldn't be clearer. KJP isn't protecting the truth. She's protecting the illusion, and the American people are starting to see through it. But Karoline didn't end there.
When you talk to the real journalists, not the ones who are actually activists that pose as journalists, but the people who actually care about truth, and there are some of those left in the White House press corps, I work with them every day, they will tell you the Trump White House is the most accessible and transparent White House ever. Not only does the president take questions from the press on a near daily basis, multiple times per day, as he did today, but we also provide truthful and accurate information about what this administration is doing and accomplishing.
Karoline didn't shy away from KJP's insult. Instead, she turned it into ammunition, responding to being labeled an online debater and troll. Karoline fired back by highlighting how the White House under her tenure is far more open and transparent than it ever was under Karine Jean-Pierre. She emphasized that accessibility and accountability are back, noting that reporters now have more opportunities to ask questions and get real answers, not pre-scripted talking points. Karoline went further, commending President Trump for setting the tone by engaging with the press regularly, often facing tough questions head-on. Something she says was nearly impossible under Biden's administration. In her words, the difference is night and day. A press corps that's no longer shut out. A president who actually communicates and a press secretary who doesn't hide behind excuses. It was a pointed rebuttal, sharp, confident, and hard to dismiss.
Contrast to what they had over the past 4 years, where they were gaslit, where they were told Joe Biden was mentally stable and up for the job, that was a lie, where they were told the administration was doing everything it could to secure the border, also a lie. I'm very proud to work for the greatest president in history.
I remember when Biden and KLA Harris kept assuring everyone that the southern border was secure. They said it with so much confidence that you almost wanted to believe them until the truth came out. Turns out more than 1 million illegal immigrants had slipped through under their watch, exposing just how misleading those claims really were. And that wasn't the only cover-up of the Biden era. The Hunter Biden laptop saga, arguably the biggest political scandal of the decade, was brushed aside, censored, and labeled Russian disinformation until it could no longer be denied. So, when Karoline Leavitt calls out Karine Jean-Pierre and the entire administration for lacking honesty with the American people, she's not exaggerating. She's holding them accountable for years of deception, denial, and deliberate misinformation. And frankly, it's about time someone did.